want to read
English? પિન્ટુભાઈ પિન્ટુભાઈ વાંચે.
Janand Swami Maharajni Jai. Vachanamrut Vartal II, realizing God through the four scriptures. Kandasji's question. On Kartik Sudi 13, Sambat 1882, that is 22nd November 1825, Swami Shri Sahajanandji Maharaj was sitting on a large decorated cart with a mango tree on the banks of Lake Gomti, towards the north of the mandir of Sri Lakshmi Narayan in Vartal. He was wearing a surwal made from yellow silken cloth and a red dugli made from kinkab. He had also tied a pag around his head using an orange cloth with a brocaded border, and an orange shelu with a brocaded border was placed upon his shoulder. In addition to this, his pag was decorated with garlands of champa flowers, and garlands of white flowers also adorned his neck. At that time, an assembly of munis as well as devotees from various places had gathered before him. Then Sriji Maharaj said, "Please begin a question answer session." Thereupon, Kandasji Patel of village Bhuva folded his hands and asked, "Maharaj, by what means does God become pleased?" Sriji Maharaj replied, "If we do not malign God, then God becomes pleased." Then you may ask, what does it mean to malign God? Well, God is the all-doer of the world. God is the all-doer of this world. However, if one does not understand Him to be the all-doer and instead believes that it is Kal that is the all-doer of this world, or that is Maya, or that it is Karma, or that it is Swabhav that is the all-doer, then one is maligning God. This is because actually God is the all-doer. To ignore this and claim that only Kad, Karma, Maya, and Swabhav are the all-doers of this world is serious slander against God. For example, you are the Patel, that is like a village chief of your village. If someone does not acknowledge your status in the village, then he can be said to be your slanderer. Also, if someone does not accept the sovereignty of an emperor of the world, but instead accepts the sovereignty of one who is not even a king, then that man is known as a slanderer of the emperor. If one writes and distributes letters stating, "Our king has no nose and ears, he has no hands or feet," and thereby describes the king as being deformed even though he has a normal body, then is also known as a slanderer of the king. Similarly, God is complete with limbs, hands, feet, etc. There is not the slightest deformation in any of his limbs. He eternally possesses a definite form. So to say that he is not the all-doer and is formless, and that God and others are the causes of all, not God, is equivalent to maligning God. One who does not malign God in this manner is said to have performed perfect puja of God. Otherwise, without such an understanding, even if one performs puja by offering sandalwood paste, flowers, etc., one is still a slanderer of God. Therefore, God is only pleased upon one who realizes God to possess a definite form and to be the creator, sustainer, and destroyer of the cosmos. In the Vedas, God Himself has described His nature in many ways, but no one could comprehend it. Then the Sankhya scriptures prescribed the 24 elements and said that God is the 25th. The Acharya of the Sankhya philosophy, Kapil Muni, taught the Jiva behaves as if it is one with the three types of bodies, that is, Sthul, Sukshma, and Karan, and it cannot remain separate from them. The Ishwar also behaves as if it is one with its adjuncts in the form of its three bodies, Virat, Sutratma, and Avyakrut, and it too cannot remain separate from them. Thus, The Sankhya scriptures count Jiva and Ishwar amongst the 24 elements and claim Paramatma to be the 25th. The acharyas of the Yoga scriptures, Hiranyagarbha Rishi, propounds that there are 24 elements and the Jiv and Ishwar are the 25th, but Paramatma is the 26th. This is how the Sankhya scriptures and the Yoga scriptures describe God's nature. Still, no one attained realization of the nature of God as He is. By inference, it was accepted. According to the Sankhya doctrine, whatever transcends the 24 elements is Satya. According to the Yoga doctrine, it was inferred Paramatma, who transcends Jiva and Ishwar, who themselves transcend the 24 elements, is Satya. In this manner, through these two philosophies, the nature of God was realized by inference. However, is that God black or yellow? Is he tall or short? Does he possess a form or he is formless? That was not realized. Thereafter, Vasudeva Bhagwan himself composed the Pancharatra Tantra, in which he explained, in his own Akshardham, Shri Krishna Purushottam Bhagwan eternally possesses a divine form. This God gives darshan 5 times to the countless Nirandra Muktas, the residents of the Shwetdweep. In Vaikunt, that same God assumes a 4-armed form holding a conch, a disc, a mace, and a lotus. Along with him is Lakshmiji. He is also served by Vishwaksen and other attendants. It is that same God who is worthy of being offered puja, worthy of worship, and worthy of attainment. It is that same God who assumes the avatars of Ram, Krishna, etc., and who appears in the 4 forms of Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, and Anirudh. In this way, he propounded that God possesses a form. Then Naradji revised that same Pancharatra Tantra, after which it came to be known as the Narad Pancharatra. In that, God's form was explained in such a manner that not even the slightest doubt remained. Thus, the Srimad Bhagavad states, the Vedas are devoted to Narayan. The deities are all formed from the form of Narayan. The realms are all devoted to Narayan. All yagnas are devoted to Narayan. All yoga too is devoted to Narayan. All austerities are devoted to Narayan. All Gnan is devoted to Narayan. Narayan is the objective of all endeavors. It also states the Vedas are devoted to Vasudev. All yagnas are devoted to Vasudev. All yoga is devoted to Vasudev. All activities are devoted to Vasudev. All Gnan too is devoted to Vasudev. All austerities are devoted to Vasudev. All dharma is devoted to Vasudev. Indeed, Vasudev is the objective of all endeavors. Thus, the 4 scriptures have described the nature of Sri Krishna Vasudev only. Only one who realizes God through these 4 scriptures can be said to possess total Gnan. For example, only when one sees with one's eyes does one come to know that milk is white. Only when one smells with one's nose does one come to know its smell. Only when one touches it with one's finger does one come to know whether it is hot or cold. And only when one tastes it with one's tongue does one come to know its taste. In this manner, only when milk is tested through all of the indriyas can one totally know its nature. It cannot be totally known through one indriya alone. Similarly, one realizes God's nature totally when one realizes it through the 4 scriptures, that is the Vedas, etc. To have such knowledge is called total Gnan. God is pleased only upon someone who has such understanding. There is no other means of pleasing him. Thus, only one who has such realization can be said to possess total Gnan, and God becomes extremely pleased only upon such a person. Iti Vachanamrut Sabha.